we seem to have discovered one of the paradoxes at the heart of logic. And logic doesn't really do well with paradoxes, with things like the laws of non-contradiction, etc. The paradox at the heart of logic is that logic is a system of correlating information. It's a system of correlating, in particular, our faculties of reasoning. It's useful up to a point. But the problem is, of course, logic cannot really be applied to that which is not logical. What's not logical? Us. Or perhaps I shouldn't say we are not logical. I would just say that we're not always logical, and that our non-logical part is probably at least as big of a part of our makeup as the logical part is. And it's not going to become logical. There's no evidence that that is even possible. So we either cope with the fact that we are not consistently logical, and that it's not going to happen for us to be consistently logical. We either cope with that, or we just submit ourselves to the paradox at the heart of logic. It reminds me of that old Star Trek episode, The Changeling, when a utterly logical machine decided that humans needed to be exterminated simply because they did not make sense to it. Because all that machine, the Changeling, understood was logic. Humans were illogical, humans must be removed. If we want to treat logic like some sort of master, then we may as well admit that we've created a monster, a Frankenstein, that will turn on us, because logically we cannot make a case for our own existence. Now, if you want to submit yourself to logic in that way, the process ought to be completely voluntary, and I'm all for that. If you can't handle your own irrationality, and you are irrational, and so am I, so is the rest of the universe, actually, if you ask me. If you can't handle that, well, then I suggest then that you just do what logic dictates. There are those of us, however, who are quite okay with that part of our nature, which is not logical, that can wrap our heads around paradoxes and can leap beyond things like laws of non-contradiction. Sorry, nobody asked me whether or not I voted for such a law. I'll go for it as long as it serves my own needs. If things like the law of non-contradiction turn upon me, well, then the law of non-contradiction is going to have to give way. If you don't want it to give way, that's fine by you, or fine by me as well. But if you decide that it is going to rule you, just let it rule yourself. The minute you decide that it's going to rule the human race, well, you get lovely things like, totalitarianism. We are creating a square hole, and we are round pegs. Remember, that square hole is what we have created. Frankenstein's monster turned on him, but it didn't have to. He should have created it as something that would serve him. Logic is a Frankenstein if you don't keep it on a properly short leash.